Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. Today, stand-up comedian, host extraordinaire, geek of all geeks, Jay Washington is joining the show with us.
Thank you.
I'm like your live audience. This is
I know I want that. I
you.
want an entrance video like you got. I want
it's pretty dope, right?
Yeah,
Jake Yakavetta made that shit.
I want some shit like that for blurs. Like I was like, oh, look at the sparkles.
It's pretty cool.
That's dope.
So I'm thinking today, like, what do you want to talk, like movies, TV, comic book kind of thing?
We can talk whatever you want to talk. You got me.
I am fucking kidding.
Yeah, you got me.
I'm tuning into these shows right now and I'm listening to what they're talking about. People are talking about like their pets. They're like, oh, well, with the cat that I have and
I get it.
The adoption. I get it too, but I'm like, what the fuck?
I get it. I get it at some point, you know, excuse me. I get it. People are like, oh, can we talk about something different? And the fact of the matter is with the situations that's going on, how much it's escalated when all 50 states, all 50
for the first time ever,
all 50 states are about the same thing. You cannot ignore it no matter what. I know it sounds like you want to hear something else. Just like when we heard about the pandemic shit 24/7, I got it. But this shit has been something going on long enough, and now it's finally hit the point when people in Boise, Idaho, are protesting Black Lives Matter. That speaks volumes to me, you know. So with everything going on,
and in all different countries too, we're seeing it everywhere.
I posted a video on my Instagram and on my Facebook of a bunch of Polynesian brothers and sisters in New Zealand. They did a haka for Black Lives Matter. And a haka is a powerful war dance. Sometimes it's done in celebratory things. It's just beautiful and it chills down you. And it brought me to tears because, again, like you said, the world is seeing and acknowledging like, yo, this is, for lack of better words, fucked up.
There are no better words. That is the better words. This is fucked up.
Yeah.
And like anytime I try to describe this, so I was with my, I went to my Grammys last night and she is like just very extremely liberal, very like went out protesting in her own time, always just has been on the right side of history every step of the way. And she's being like a little social justice warrior on the keyboard. And she made a massive mistake because she thought she was being cool and thought she was being right. And she saw somebody post Black Lives Matter and she wrote back and she said, completely all lives matter. I love this. Like, and she was like, the Constitution says every one of us, black, brown, white, doesn't make a difference.
What she meant, right.
And I saw it and I was like, Grammy, what the fuck? And she was like, what? And I was like, that phrase, all lives matter, has been taken over by white supremacists. I don't even know how else to phrase it. That's not fully true, but like, that phrase is, you can't use it anymore. You can't use it.
Well, because the problem with that phrase is people assume the only time that phrase comes up, is when people say Black Lives Matter. It has not come up throughout the whole, I want to go golf and go to the hair salon and get a haircut. Not come up. This is the only time it comes up. And so the phrase has never been only Black Lives Matter or Black Lives Matter only or nobody else but Black Lives Matter. It's just been Black Lives Matter because of what we've been going through. It is to the point, and I'll say it this way, we have damn near as black people been like, yo, do they need to make it a law on the fucking books to say it's legal to be black? Because that's how it feels. And so again, your grandmother has the best intentions, but she doesn't understand the context in which it's been used now. And, you know, a lot of people, some people, when you try to tell them like, listen, no one has ever said all lives don't matter.
I know.
Because if we say that, then it would be completely against everything what we're marching for with us as black people and people who have marched with us.
I explained it to her and she was like, because I explained both. Have you heard the fire analogy? Like if somebody's house on fire. So I explained that and a couple different things and she felt so bad. And she was like, how do I get rid of it? How do I get rid of it? But she's not that good with Instagram. So she was like, it won't delete. And I was like, And she's like, should I just add on it? Should I write on it? I don't mean all lives. I just mean Black lives. I was like, no, I think you're burying a hole. Like, hold on. So I like went over there and deleted it for her. She was,
you were like, look, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, because it does suck when you like everything she tries to do. You have to right now be so aware, and she's watching all day. She's watching Rachel Maddow and like all these people, but they're not talking about this kind of thing. And we're in the digital space where it's being talked about all the time. But she's watching traditional television where they're not explaining. There's no TikToks explaining how this is like somebody's house being on fire.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're not doing the best job in traditional TV of talking about how to talk about these things.
Well, I agree with that 100%. And I also think the best part about this situation with your grandmother is you're doing something in which a lot of people in general, not just Black people, have been saying, is to teach, learn, listen, understand those different elements. And that's how you come to a better understanding. Yeah, you said it from jump. Your grandmother's always been protesting issues like that. You know, she's always been about these things. And it's not coming from a place of malice. However, the majority have come from that. And yeah, you don't have, you know what, the media, no matter whether it's MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, whatever you want to call it, they're not going to do that because why? It doesn't generate the ratings they want. They have to find things that people,
people want entertainment. They want to see, for better or worse, they want to see violence. They want to see peace. They want to see the things that are movements. They don't want to hear like, here's how you discuss these things.
Yeah, it's those type of things. And so, you know, people just have to be willing to understand. Like, you can't just, you know, people always will say, there's a lot, well, not people always. There's some people who go, well, I have Black friends. Okay, cool. You do. Fine. If you know how many, that's a problem. But
it's the fucking worst.
When people be like, yo, I know how many Black, you'd be like, you should never know that.
I have 4 Black friends. What the fuck?
You've counted and was like, no, 4. This is good. I'm good. The thing is, when you have those around and they talk to you, about these issues, the biggest thing is just shut the fuck up and listen. Because we're not, again, everybody's seeing. We've said it on Blurs, Snowdown Backstage, any place I've been, and I will continue to say it. The only reason everyone can fully see what all of this is for what it's been is because we all are forced to finally watch it. For years, generations, Black men and women have been saying this is consistently happening. The problem is you didn't have instant video to show it to you the moment it happens. But now we did have it for a while. People would still just ignore it. But when people can't do anything else but sit in their houses in front of their TVs and phones and computers, now you have no choice but to see it.
I'm curious about that from what you think, Jay, because it's not like video phones are new. I mean, when Winston was on, obviously we were talking a lot about Philando Castile because we did a drive or a charity stream for Philando Castile's Feed the Children Fund. But, you know, that was 2016. We watched that whole fucking murder on live stream. I mean, his girlfriend live streamed the whole thing. That's 4 years ago.
Yeah. So, and in Minneapolis.
100%. And since then, I mean, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we've watched it over and over. So is the reason that now is the time that people are finally protesting because, and there have been smaller protests, but I mean, everybody's protesting because Corona.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, is Corona possibly going to be looked back at history
as the catalyst to change
and as a possible positive?
Yeah. I mean, you put it just the best way. I think it will be looked at because of what it did, because there's this thing that the world is consistently busy. We're constantly go. We're constantly on the move. We never sit down. This has forced us to sit down. No matter how you and I are sitting here doing this live via the internet, we're both home. It forces us to be in one place. And so if there was nothing else that would ever do this, right? There was you have wars going on in different countries, but the other countries that aren't affected are still moving. This is the one thing, the one time that it has made the world stop. Now, granted, yes, the protests are going. Yes, the marches are going. Yes, people are speaking out, and it is still happening while this is happening. And, you know, granted, the marches are great. The protests are great. The speaking out are great. Like I tell everybody, the first night it went down in Minneapolis, it was going to always happen. because it reached a boiling point. Black people got tired.
What are you saying was going to always happen
The way
specifically?
it went over to the riots and the escalation of the engagement with the police, it was always going to happen, because there's only so long you can just march with a bunch of people down the street over and over again, make a hashtag, put somebody's face on a t-shirt, and nothing happens. And Martin Luther King, since people want to always quote Martin Luther King, he said a riot is the voice of the voiceless. People are tired of not having a voice. And guess what? Since I fuck all the looting and all that other bullshit that's happened, because I was back home in Chicago and I've seen that bullshit happen. That's nothing to do with what's going on.
It's distracting, honestly.
It's very distracting. But with all the shit that happened, with all of the fires, the pushbacks and everything, it actually did bring change. It's fucked up how long it took to bring change, because it took 3 days for them to finally arrest Derek Chauvin, the main officer.
Right.
And only until yesterday did they arrest the other 3.
And then change it to 2nd degree.
And then they upped his charge. But also, I said this yesterday too on Backstage, if people listen, the biggest issue behind that are police unions. They protect police officers from being arrested instantly. They are beyond protect. It is not just people like, well, the mayor is calling for this. Yes, the mayor can call for stuff. The governors can call for stuff. But police unions are put in place for reasons like that, to protect the officers if they do something in the line of duty that people can say they were going beyond their boundaries.
This is kind of a strange question and an analogy, but stick with me for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So something I've been thinking about and wondering what this means and how we'll deal with it as a society is, so, okay, if I'm dating somebody and we're on the phone and we're in a fight, we weren't going to see each other that night. We get in a fight and then we make up and he's like, okay, so I'll come over now because I want to see you because we were just in a fight. I usually will be like, no, because that forces bad habits. Now I know if I fight with you, I get to see you. And I don't want to be somebody who, in order to see you, has to fight with you. That's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stupidest example ever. But to relate that to this, I feel like there was no change without riots. There was no change. There was no change without flames. There was no change without this looting. There was no change without the protests. There was no change without this. So now what the United States government has taught us is that if you want change, you actually cannot go about that peacefully. If you want to see us, then you have to fight with us.
But also,
I'm concerned that they have only made this decision now after cop cars are on fire, after the military's been, after all of this, that's when they decide to make the decision, because doesn't that mean in the future, anytime there's any group that's oppressed or anything they need, it means light the place on fucking fire to get what you want?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
And
did that make sense?
It makes okay. I got exactly what you meant. But here's why I say no. We always say shit rolls downhill, which means it starts at the top. I don't care how you feel politically. I don't have a political affiliation to anybody watching. That orange fuck muppet has stoked a lot of flames of hate throughout his campaign and his presidency nonstop. This fucking beat up Cheeto has consistently allowed anything to be twisted and then try to say, well, it's the liberals, it's the Democrats, the far left, or he will never, and I don't even want to say it's the far right, but he will never condemn sides that have openly sided with these actions that have caused these things, right? If you have a leader, whether they're Democratic or Republican, who would address this the way it should have been the moment it happened, I promise you, a lot of pushback wouldn't have been the way it was.
I feel the same. Sorry, Jay, keep going.
No.
Keep going.
Because you have to have that person who says it takes him. He can, if you go against him, he can say something instantly. Again, Twitter fact checked him, and this bitch went to crying. It was like, I'm gonna write an executive order when you're not doing my 280 tweets because I'm on your thing. Well, get the fuck off Twitter. But it took him over a week almost to say anything about George Floyd. You had all other former presidents, presidential candidates, current candidates, all these other political figures.
Anybody with a heart
acknowledged it. And those who are too scared You have this situation with the American government where, unfortunately, and I'm just going to call it for what it is, those who have found themselves aligning hip by hip with this tangerine dickhead are too afraid to say anything because of the fact, not because of him. They're not afraid of him. They need him because of his followers.
Right.
And so because of that, they won't say anything. They won't do anything. But now we're seeing the pushback behind that. And the best example ever is what happened in Iowa. When Steve King lost his seat in the House of Representatives, that should be the biggest wake-up call to any member of Congress who is not on the right side of this, because Steve King has been openly racist for years in Congress, openly hateful, and the people of Iowa have consistently voted him back in office. For it finally to happen where all this goes down and they like, no, you gotta go, that is just the start. Now we'll see if this becomes a snowball and gains traction. Now again, to go back to, do you have to emit flames everywhere? No, but it also speaks volumes when the president of the United States is that much of a bitch that you have to have fences and walls put up around the White House because you're scared of protest.
I mean, watching what he did in order to raise that Bible in front of the church and kicking the living shit out of those protesters so he could walk across the street after hiding in his bunker for days. I don't know that you need to know more about the president than that. If you can call him the president because that's what he is, but you can't call him a leader because he certainly is not. He's not a leader. But my question then still stands. Come November, if Trump is reelected, I think, and I'm curious if you agree,
it'll be worse.
If he is elected, we know as a society, if we want change, the only way to get change with him as the president is to light the motherfucking place on fire. And that's that. And if a different president is elected, I would Biden is the only one I can say right now. So
at this point, unfortunately,
if it's Biden, then we will see if he leads differently and pray that he does, so that we know we don't have to light shit on fire to be heard. And by the way, when I say we, I mean we who are on the right side of this.
Yeah, I think the thing is this, and I wish people would understand this. When it was the fuck Muppet versus Hillary Clinton, no matter how people may have felt about her person, they might have said, oh, her ideas or certain things, she's just the status quo. She's just the normal, what you already have. And I understand that we'd already had this difference in a sense with Barack Obama. It may not have been the full difference everybody wanted, but it was something different. And they were like, oh, it's just more the status quo with her. But again, when you look at it, you're like, yo, do you think the world would be on fire with her? No.
I called my whole family and I was like, and you know, they're all Democrats, but I was like, don't you think people want the bitch now?
Yeah.
The sensitive bitch or whatever the fuck people labeled her that made her not appropriate to be president. And even now, I feel like if primaries were being held now, Biden would not be the person that the Dems put into office, because with everything that was going on with them not wanting Elizabeth Warren because she's also a bitch, because apparently every female politician, that it's just, as long as you label them a bitch, they can't get into office.
Nope.
Like, there's just no way this is going down. And Biden is the one. He's just so, I'm scared for even him being there because he just feels so unfit to be president. Like, he's just so, but fine. He has my vote. Here's
the thing. I've said this about this whole thing with this entire election cycle from the beginning. When we had first of all, when we had this massive array of Democratic contenders, I was like, this is not good. This is not good. Because you got way too many people splitting way too many of the votes.
Yeah.
Granted, we all know it will dwindle down as it did. But when it came down to potentially Bernie, Biden, and Trump, I said this many a times, and people know me. You can check my record on it. I was like, yo, didn't y'all say after Barack Obama, no matter what, the last thing this country needed was another old white man in charge?
Yeah.
Was the last thing. You had a chance with Hillary Clinton, but because, again, the sensitive bitch, all that went away. Now you bring it back to the same thing, no matter how you feel about any of their policies. It's three old white men. People keep saying they want to move this country forward, but at the same time, it doesn't do it. It doesn't. And so
my one caveat on that was, I was Elizabeth Warren, but I did like Bernie, and I will say that I would like to one day see a Jewish person, man or woman, in office as the president. That would be progress for me.
No, absolutely.
So
But
in that sense, he is an old white man, but for lack of better words, at least he's a Jew.
No, I mean, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, absolutely. But it's just that when you look at it on the surface,
yeah,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
hear
you
you.
look at it on the surface. And so this country has put itself in this predicament. This country has never atoned for its original sins. It's never done that. Every time this
barely
country
even acknowledged, atoned, we would have to speak it out loud.
Barely acknowledge it, because everything this country has done has tried to be swept under the rug and just glanced over real quick. It's tried to have history rewrite itself where you can't do that. And so it wants to do that, then put itself on this pedestal as the best thing on the planet. But now, and then also try to police the world at the same time. But how can you police the world when you can't even police yourself? And so now this is the result of all of it, and people have to understand that. I keep seeing people like, I don't know how this country has gotten this bad, how the situations have gone this far. Yes, you do. You just chose to ignore it.
My least favorite thing is when people say, I don't know, and then follow that with something they know very well. You can say, I don't like that this country has gotten this bad, or I wish this country was not this bad, but what do you mean you don't know? Well, then educate yourself. If you really don't know, then pick up a book.
And I understand that there are people, because this whole discussion of what is racism, I didn't know racism was this bad. I get that. There are some people who grew up isolated and never knew any other type of people outside of what was in their immediate circle, their immediate towns. And all they may have been introduced to black, brown, yellow, orange, purple, green was through TV or what they saw that was pushed in front of them. So that's their perception that they gain. So now you have it where it's like, oh my God, this has really been happening around me the whole time? Yes. Well, how do I change the perception that I've had? Well, now you need to listen and learn. Now you need to find black people, not a black friend. Now you need to, because people were like, oh, well, I'm going to get a black friend and they'll teach me and I'll be good. No, that's not it. Now you have to actually do something the country hasn't done. Again, atone for your behavior. I've seen a lot of people. I've had people come to me directly, was like, yo, I used to do a lot of racist shit, but I've heard how you've spoken. I've heard how many others have spoken about this and spoken from the heart and not just trying to be like, yo, you dumb fucking white people. Like none of that stupid shit. Just literally spoken from the heart about what we see, what we experience, what we go through. And because they've never been told that. They've just had that perception of things. And so now that they've been told that, they understand a little bit better. And now they can be able to take what they've heard and then look around and see, oh shit, wait, these videos of police killing unarmed black people is real? Because of course you're going to have that follow caveat being, well, the police killed unarmed white people all the time. This is very true, but you know why that happens? White people are 62% of this country and black people are 13%. And then people will go, well, what about black on black crime? That's not a real thing. Why? Because you never say white on white crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, Asian on Asian crime. It's not a thing. Crime. You just say crime. So that's not a thing. And also it is statistically proven that you are liable to kill the person of the same race who is within your close proximity. So that's why black people kill black people in their same neighborhoods or in their same general areas, as the same with white, Hispanic, Asian, blah, blah, blah.
I'm really glad that you're taking time to explain that and share, because what I will say is I posted a while ago, I don't know what it was, where it was, but the 6th leading cause for young black men, I don't know whether it was black men or black people, young black people. I think it was just men, though. I don't think it was women. It was police killings.
Yes.
So, but then somebody responded and was like, but the number one is, like you just said, black on black crime. And I was like, what the fuck even is, I had to Google, I literally wasn't even thinking that they're saying that. It was like black on black crime. And I was like, what black on black crime? And it's literally what you're just talking about, crime. But you would think that that would be for any race, that would be higher, because the way that our country works and the way that neighborhoods are.
Right.
So that makes perfect fucking sense, you explaining that. And it's a ridiculous cop-out that people are using to not acknowledge what's happening.
And it definitely is. And you have, like, I love the fact that I will be I've always been vocal about these issues without any care of the repercussions. I'm going to always tell you, like, yo, If you do some racist shit, I will call you out. I don't care if I consider you friend, foe, family, a company I work for, whatever. You need to be called out on because you need to be checked about it. But I'll post a lot of videos outside of the looting shit, be like, man, look at these thugs and all this. And it is white people because you'll never post those people who will say black on black crime will never post those videos, will never show those images. And I could post Hispanics and all this and that. But again, it's only those that say that dumb shit. And I'm like, yo, crime is crime.
Yeah.
Crime is crime regardless. And it even ties.
And it's a problem. Crime is a problem.
It's a problem no matter what. And then people will go to the next part of saying, well, I wish black people marched about black people killing other black people, when the fact of the matter is they do. It's just not televised. We're not doing that shit in our neighborhoods for a camera crew to come down. We're not doing that shit in our neighborhoods to have a bunch of celebrities show up. No, we're doing it for our neighborhoods because it's for us to protect us. Those things happen weekly. People just don't know about it. This is something national because this is bigger than everybody. But when people have always, well, what about a neighborhood? That shit. I am from a neighborhood in Chicago that is consistently protesting all the violence, and I know neighborhoods over that are consistently doing it, and I know people from other major cities as well. So people who try to say that are just again trying to find an excuse to justify.
But and also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. That's not a hate crime because black people aren't killing black people because they're black.
Exactly. That's another thing.
So they're not killing somebody because of the color of their skin.
No, it's
the same way that white people aren't killing white people because they're white.
Right,
they're killing them because, I don't know, domestic violence issues or
gang issue. It's gangs, domestic violence, just bullshit, disrespect.
Not the color of their skin.
No, not at all. And so when people, again, this is how I know people when they talk. Well, sorry, I said when they speak, they have hate in their heart or ingrained racism. When something is clear cut as day as a hate crime, when it's evident why things are happening the way they are, when it's evident race has evolved, people say, well, how do you know it was really race, huh? Isn't that the media just trying to make this up? And for people who say that, again, you're trying to play oblivious. You're trying to be dumb to the fact, or you're trying to spin it in a way like, yo, the George Floyd situation, nothing at all from the moment of his original detainment to when he was dragged out the car warrants a knee on the back of his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Not a goddamn thing. There was no resisting. He had already been subdued completely. Nothing warranted.
If you've noticed, Jay, the craziest part is that there was not one person who could say anything other than that was murder. Like nobody could acknowledge anything else.
Nope.
So instead, they picked a problem with how people were upset about that.
Yep.
You know, they couldn't say, no, he wasn't murdered. So instead they said, you're protesting wrong, because they need to have an issue with something, but they couldn't find one with that video because it's so blatant. It's one of the most blatant ones that we've ever seen, where somebody is fucking you. I mean, I don't have to recount what happens. You fucking know.
No, yeah.
But that is nobody with eyes could say, but maybe there was nothing. So instead they found fault with the people who were protesting because they couldn't.
Yeah. Or now this big thing is called straw manning. And what that is when you try to go back into somebody's life and find a criminal infraction from years ago that has nothing
to do with it. Because we all change and we all grow, or some people shrink. But
because now they're talking about, because supposedly, I think there's a record of him having a domestic issue 10 years ago. And I will never excuse that by any means. But the crime in which that caused all this had nothing to do with that 10 years ago.
Wait, can you tell me again, what's it called? Straw manning?
I think it's straw manning is the word with that. Picking straws and shit, like, okay, we need to make the victim seem like more like a criminal than anything else. So where can we find? Because that's why when Trayvon Martin was killed, you notice the picture that they put up was the most thuggish looking quote unquote picture they can find of him to try to justify the fact he defended himself against George Zimmerman, a man who was following him. You know what I'm saying? Eric Garner. Oh, well, he was selling illegal cigarettes. That is not a capital punishment crime. You know, George Floyd. Oh, he had a counterfeit $20 bill. That is not a capital punishment crime. And people keep forgetting that. People are like, oh, well, you have these people, oh, well, if you don't break the law, then you'll be alive. You're a fucking liar, because again, we have videos that have shown.
What did Ahmaud Arbery do?
Ahmaud Arbery, right. Oh, well, he was visiting a construction site and there were robberies in the neighborhood, which has been proven. There were no robberies in any neighborhood, but also
he didn't break the law.
He didn't break the law, because what person who has not walked into a construction site and seen and looked around and see, oh, what is this possibly going to be?
I always do that. And what about the hundreds of people that have been sitting in their own home? and just sitting in their fucking house, and police have come in.
Breonna Taylor was killed in her own bed. Thank God they finally reopened the case. Breonna Taylor was laying in her bed and police just went in shooting, and they already had the suspect they wanted.
A day before.
They
a
already
fucking
had
day before. So how are you going to tell me that if you don't do anything wrong or illegal, then you'd be alive when you're fucking sleeping in your own bed?
Right.
So I mean, that's a bullshit thing to say.
And so they do this consistently. They do this, try to justify these different situations. And it's like, you can't. Because again, there's only one crime, one that warrants capital punishment, and it is murder.
Mm-hmm.
It is murder. And not one of these crimes in any situation that people like to bring up warrant murder. People try to say Trayvon Martin, because I always bring up Trayvon. Oh, well, George Zimmerman feared for his life over a teenage boy. Then you a whole bitch. You should not be out there trying to be the neighborhood watch dude. If a teenage boy beating your ass because you following him and he wondering why you follow him after the police told you not to fucking follow him, but you got away because of the stand your ground law, which is bullshit in many situations.
Yeah,
but you have these situations and people want to try to justify it. And like, you can't, because again, your justification is rooted in hate.
We've got a lot of stuff going on. I do see you guys in here. Let's get to some of these super chats, some of the Streamlabs, the Patreon questions. And also I know that Jay and I have a lot to talk about in terms of some recent schmodown situations that have come up that are relevant to this conversation. So we'll get to all of that today, starting with Larry Lease, who just says, guys, hit that like button. Jay, you're an amazing dude. Thanks for speaking the truth. Larry, you rock. Thank you. And Jay is amazing. James Wheeler, who says, hi, Roxy and Jay. Just want to show my support. One masshole to another. Much love to all. Yeah, I am a masshole. That is true about me.
Massachusetts people.
By the way, before I get to the next one, you said you were back in Chicago. I didn't know you were back there.
I went for the week. This is the funniest thing. I left on Friday. I literally tried to escape from here for the weekend because everything.
When did you book it? You booked it like literally that day. You were like, let me just get out of here.
The day before. I booked it the day before.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gone. So I was gonna go for the weekend. I was like, I can go home. I know they got the quarantine shit at home, but it shouldn't be that bad. And lo and behold, it went up worse than any place else. But
I heard it was fucking mayhem there.
But also, we've always had. See, people always say, well, they're taking away from the message. We've always had this group of ignorant little niggas that want to try to act out and do shit just because. And they were proving it because all they were doing was breaking in stores just to grab. Yeah, they were looting, but they were trying to get shit like, oh, I'm going to get these clothes and these shoes and all that. And it was like, yo, if somebody air y'all asses out, because this is the Chicago and me coming out now. If somebody just straight air y'all asses out, then your mamas and shit is on the news crying, talking about my baby didn't deserve it. Now your baby deserved to get caught on that because now you're being dumb, because these are the same dudes and chicks that be in the street wanting to start fights. Like if I was the same cat I was back in the day, I'm like, yo, I will push you in front of a bus, yo. Don't play with me. Yeah. But I'm not that dude. I'm grown and I'm a father. But I watched all these idiots doing that. And I watch people just trying to be opportunistic. They're running around with them with their camera phones up just so they can get a video that'll hopefully go viral and they can hope they can make some money off of it. All this dumb shit. And so that happened. And then you got a lot of the older guys that I still know to this day that was like, yo, these little dudes is the ones y'all need to talk to. And the problem is it's the parents on that end, because the parents be knowing that their kids out in these streets come home and say nothing.
Lewis Cox in here, guys, says, love you guys so much. Please be safe. Black Lives effing matter. There was protest in London with John Boyega. Yeah, I saw that. Did you see John Boyega on that megaphone?
I have so much respect for that man, because the number one thing he said, and was in a tweet, y'all got this Star Wars shit got y'all fucked up. Because everybody keeps believing because he played Finn in Star Wars. Oh, you're a character in a Star Wars movie. You're not supposed to be outspoken like this. And he told him, I'm a black man first. He told him, I don't care about my career.
I saw the dumbest responses to so much of his shit that was like, just so he's not allowed to fight for, it makes no fucking sense. Are you guys dumb?
Also, for the people that got mad at him, and I don't know if it's any watching or any that'll stumble upon this. If you're one of those people, the idiots that are still mad at him, you're mad at a dude for being a part of a resistance when he played in a movie where he was part of a fucking resistance.
I know.
So where's your logic?
It makes no fucking sense. My brother and I were on the phone for like 30 minutes about that. Like, what the fuck? And people were upset that he said Black Lives Matter. Like, if you think that that's a controversial statement, why the fuck do you follow him?
Yeah, and he was like, I said what I fucking said, and I loved it. That's the thing, too. I'm a known dude. I'm not super popular. I tell her, I even said it last night. Who am I? I'm just a stand-up comic, an actor, host, pro wrestler, all this. But at the end of the day, first and foremost, I'm a black man and a father. If I lose followers over how I speak or how I'm speaking about what's going on in the truth, I don't give a shit. If I lose work opportunities because of how I'm speaking and telling the truth, I don't give a shit. If I lose quote unquote friends because of how I'm speaking and how I'm telling the truth, I don't give a shit, because you know why? I'm not going to be quiet when this shit keeps going on. And especially now that I have a platform, why would I be quiet?
I said the exact same thing. And I've watched on this channel, my subscribers are plummeting. On my Twitter and my Instagram, I've lost hundreds, if not now thousands across the board of followers. Bye. Go fuck yourselves.
Yep.
Bye. Why the fuck were you following me in the first place? I'm the least quiet person on the planet. I fucking shout. Like, what did you think I stood for? Are you fucking stupid? Why did you follow me? So whatever, good riddance. It's seemingly unrelated unless I'm wrong, Jay. You tell me. But Larry Lee says, hey, Jay, I know this issue is so old, but do you blame Steve Bartman for the incident at Wrigley? I know several people appeared to be grabbing the ball. This is a baseball thing, right?
Yeah, because of this.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck?
It's because of the hat. So this
is the big controversy that's going on right now. This is a real controversy.
Let me tell you something. Dude had to move out the city. His
life,
he literally caught a ball that would have been an out that would have sent the Cubs to the World Series way before they actually won. And so his excuse was he was listening.
So he was a fan in the stands.
The fan in the stands. His excuse was he was listening in his headphones and at the same time happened to see the ball. Didn't know the magnitude of that ball going out, that ball being a home run, what it would have been. Or no, being caught. I'm sorry. What that ball being caught by Moises Alou would have been. Because if Moises Alou would have caught it, it would have been an out. The Cubs go to the World Series. So he catches it, and everybody looks at him like, you mother, because Moises Alou literally has it. Bartman takes it from him. And everybody's like, you motherfucker. The Chicago police had to escort him out through the tunnels and everything.
This shit is crazy.
Oh, it's a whole ESPN documentary.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Larry says, damn, feel like an idiot for asking that. Don't feel like an idiot. Whatever. We go over the place on this show. We talk about a ton of things. Mayra M said, we also have a president who is an instigator, who likes to stoke the fire instead of being understanding and empathetic, who only cares of ratings. That's just a fact. So
what happens when you elected a reality TV star?
Yeah. Yep. Dizzle in here. Dizzle D says, with the chaos going on, how do y'all decompress? I wanted to ask you about that, Jay, because I am curious. What are you doing to stay sane right now? How are you doing it?
So for me, it's been working out a lot. Number one, between my regular workouts.
What a healthy fucking way to stay. Damn, I need that.
I've been doing so much prison workouts because I don't have all the access to all the equipment I would do at the gym. But then I started doing yoga. I'm doing yoga with Adrian on YouTube. I recently bought my own yoga mat.
I do that too. I like that, yoga with Adrian, and it's free.
Then with Winston, I've been part of a group. We do Focus T25 now. So now that's been another change with me. So I've been doing those things. Those are helping me. But the biggest thing I do, and I've said it everywhere else, I watch obscure cartoons on streaming platforms. So like now I'm in the Digimon season 3. I'm almost done. Like, and I've watched it when I was a kid, but I do that.
What do you do? Watch at night before you go to bed?
I watch it at night. I watch hours of it. This way, my mind is not thinking about anything else because I can leave away from everything.
Yeah.
I can revert back to that little kid that used to watch Fox Kids when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? I can do those things. I can watch stuff. I can find Ronin Warriors on Amazon Prime and remember when I was a shorty watching that. And so it helps me to forget about all of that. And so even while I'm having it playing in the background, I have a game, Bejeweled Blitz, I play on my phone. I try to do that and just stay away from everything else because I have to do, because Winston said it best. As a black man in America, people don't understand you're always angry because you're always looked at and perceived as a threat.
You feel that you feel always angry, Jay?
Absolutely.
On some level, even when you're happy, even when you're sad, even you're always partially angry.
Because I can't tell you the times. I can't tell you the number of times I've had great days. I've had, accomplishments happen, and because when I walk somewhere, I'm getting followed or I'm getting looked at, and I know it's only because A, my size, and B, my skin, and B, my size, and I get it. but also it's frustrating as fuck because I know I'm not there to do anything of any type of malice intent and whatnot. And so to be judged solely off the color of your skin, like, people don't understand what that is like. People, racist people like to bring up Martin Luther King quotes all the time. I wonder what MLK would say. Yeah, shut the fuck up. You shot him too. Like, they don't understand what that's like to just consistently being judged off the color of your skin on a 24/7 basis.
Which is something you were born with.
Something I'm born with. That's why I honestly, there's one other thing I get upset about. And I say this as a man with family members in law enforcement, that blue lives matter shit. Here's why I'm upset about that. I've never once will advocate just murdering the police. I will never advocate just straight on violence against the police. However, blue is not a color you're born unless you're a Smurf or a fucking Avatar. Blue is something you choose to be. I didn't choose to be black. You didn't choose to be white. People don't choose to be Hispanic. Blue is something you choose. And I understand the risk you put in, but I also believe when it comes to blue lives, okay, so you matter. Cool. Here's another thing. How about we make sure 8 fucking weeks ain't enough for you to just go on the street and be a cop?
Some 6 weeks. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Some 6. You know, so if I gotta spend 6 to 8 years in college to become a lawyer.
Or a doctor, somebody whose life is in somebody's hands.
Right. In order to enforce the law, you can't tell me that 8 weeks is enough, because you know why? How many videos have we seen? Where you've seen officers pull over somebody or try to intimidate somebody, find out that person's a lawyer, a state's attorney, someone who knows the law better than they do.
Yeah.
And now they're looking shitty. It was just recently a Sudanese man, I think he was a FBI agent, and he was in Rochester, New York, and the Rochester police were literally trying to just harass him because he was a tall black dude. And he was like, all right, y'all some idiots. He said, they were like, get your wallet. He was like, it's in my back pocket, go get it. And then he was like the whole time, wait for it. They pulled out his wallet and it was an FBI badge. And he was like, y'all some stupid motherfuckers, using stupid as shit. And they had to unlet him go. And he was like, bring your supervisor over here. He was like, I want your card, your card, and your card. Because now what happens is, because it's being videotaped, it now becomes this big investigation, like, oh shit, we are part of that problem, that we know we've been part of that problem. Now we got called out on it, because if he didn't have that badge, they could justify any type of bullshit they want to. And so that's why we bring these whole different issues up. Like I said, one of my closest friends and my family were on the front lines dealing with the protests, and I get concerned about him. Yes, I do.
Is he in Chicago or is he here?
Chicago. He's in Chicago. But here's the thing too. I know these people personally, and there's some other ones as well, who got into law enforcement to protect their community. They want to do a great job, but so you have those bad apples, and it's like, it's not a few, it's a fucking lot.
Yeah, and did you see? I'm sure you did, because it went everywhere the other day. But Chris Rock's stand up about the bad apples.
Yeah.
But it's just the fucking truth. It's some professions you can't fucking have some, and especially you can't have a lot, but you can't fucking have any.
No.
Like, you don't get to be a bad cop. The fact that anybody who's ever watched a TV show knows that there are good cops and bad cops, like, what the fuck? There's not that for doctors. There's there's those good doctors and bad doctors.
There's no bad pilots, like Chris Rock.
That's what he was saying. Yeah, there's no
bad pilots. You can't sit there like, my pilot, Jim at first, and he first officer, he good as shit. But the captain, he be fucking up sometimes. Like, no. And that's the thing with that. So I'm sorry for the rant.
No, but what are you talking about? That's why you're on the show, so that we can talk about these things. Kenneth Daisy says, here as always, showing support for Jay. Love that, Kenneth. Appreciate that. Also, by the way, our dear mutual friend Johnny LaQuasto is in here, and he is chatting with us. That's my bit. I can guarantee there are some bad doctors out there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are, but it's not like they're not bad, like trying to kill you bad. They're bad, like maybe they're just not quite as good at doing their job.
Right.
Unless you're saying otherwise, Johnny, because I don't know. Going into the streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Shout out to Lloyd Nance and to PC, who are just showing some support. 50 Shades of Geek says, as a Jewish Israeli man, I've been a victim of racism several times. I always try to be better by not doing it to other people, not doing to what I have other people have done to me. Stay safe, you too. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. I think that's why Jewish people and Black people get along so well. I mean, we both, it's completely different situations, but between slavery and the Holocaust, I mean, those are definitely two of the worst things that have ever fucking happened on the planet. So, thanks for sharing 50 Shades of Geek. Also, Glenn Caesar says, hello, Roxy and Jay. Much love to you both and to all of the Rockstars band. I hope that you have the best Thursday you possibly can. Y'all are awesome. It's good to have you back on the show, Jay. Hashtag the Mad Titan. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the conversation. Thanks, Glenn. Very sweet. I want to go into the Patreon. Some questions coming in for Jay over here. Robert McNeil said, hey, Jay, I miss all your MTS stuff, Movie Trivia Schmodown, and I know that you used to / still are wrestling. I'm not. He says used to / still are wrestling. Parentheses, not sure which. I think you still are. Yeah.
I still am. Yeah.
I loved your
shows.
I loved your comments on Backstage yesterday, and I agree that if people don't like you, don't follow you. However, do you think that you have ever pushed it too far and felt the need to walk it back? And can you remind me what the 2 things I can do are? So I don't know what that's in regards to, but yeah.
I know exactly what he means. Number one, I've never felt I've gone too far. I'll be honest, the only time I've ever felt I've gone too far with anything is disciplining my son. It's the only thing. I'm passionate about how I feel when it comes to with certain issues, not just being a Black man, not just being a Black father, but with a lot of issues. I'm passionate about my friends. Everybody, Roxy, them know, yo, if you fuck with my homies, I'm going at you. I don't care. So, and yeah, I've told people, if you don't like what I gotta say, there's an unfollow and a block button, and he wants to know the 2 things you can do about it. It's nothing and deal with it. Damn it, plain and simple. Those are the 2 things. Like, like I don't think people understand. Like, I'm a big me. Yo, I'm who I am. This ain't no, oh, we got Jay being super professional. I remember one dude tried to come on my YouTube channel on my comments, was like, Jay talks white when he's on Movie Talk. I said, nah, dude, I talk with a little bit more professionalism. I don't just go full raw as I normally go anyplace else, because Movie Talk is a morning show at the time. Even an afternoon show. I know how to have a level of decorum.
Same with any of us, though. If you listen to any of us that host in different hours of the day, you sound different. Like when you're talking on, if I'm doing like a Rotten Tomatoes gig where I can't swear and I talk like this more, or when I'm on my own fucking channel and I don't, and my hair's in a bun and I'm like,
just did something for Fandango.
More Boston. Yeah, exactly. Like there's different. That's the point. You're supposed to be a chameleon who can kind of morph into things. Again, I told you we go all over the place on this show, but Deontay Wimbish says, favorite season of Digimon, Jay?
So right now, I'm loving the 3rd. I want to go. I never got fully into the 4th. So right now, it's between the 3rd, because Renamon is the truth. Guilmon was created and is a monster. I like the 2nd. I just think that, actually, I like the 2nd more. Why? Because Paidramon became Imperial Dramon and had 2 different modes. Like, I can start talking about Digimon all day.
That literally was gibberish. Speaking of gibberish, I don't know what the fuck this means either. You're going to have to explain it to me. Sometimes I'm ignorant.
No, you're not.
DGMC trauma from
IWA. So I used to wrestle under the Urban Gladiator Trauma. I wrestle as the Urban Gladiator Jay Washington right now. Trauma is a member of the Soul Touchers. That is myself, Marche Rocket, former Impact Wrestling superstar, Willie the Bomb Richardson, Acid Jazz, C Red, and Diamond. And IWA Mid-South is a very prominent independent promotion that was started in Kentucky by Ian Rodden, formerly of the original ECW. And so I had a lot of my greatest matches and met some of my greatest friends who are currently in the WWE, ROH, Impact, and AEW today from there.
Damn. I was like, these are all letters, and I don't even know what the fuck. Thank you for explaining. Glenn Caesar in here says, hey, Jay, what are some of your favorite places to visit and spend time in, or activities to do when you want to relax or unwind to get yourself in a good headspace?
I have to start trying to do that. I honestly don't. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I was just telling one of my homegirls. Just telling one of my homegirls for the first time in my life, because I think I have a little bit to do it. I'm finally going to take a vacation. I don't know where. I've never taken a vacation in my life, ever. I've had time off from work for a week, and I still find my way to doing different things. I've never been on a vacation. I've never gone somewhere where I'm not working. So I don't know what that is. I literally, like I said earlier, I work out and then I watch cartoons and shit to try to decompress myself.
Where are you thinking?
I want to see what Hawaii looks like, or I
Me
want to see
too.
what
I've never been, and
I want
everybody
to see
talks about
about
it.
it. I want to see Hawaii.
And I think right now, if you try to buy tickets soon for whenever, they're so inexpensive.
It's like you could get a steal to
I
go.
know. Wait, what is Johnny wants to go with you, I think. I'm going
Okay,
with you, Jay. Let's go.
I'm
Can you
dead serious. Johnny want to go. So what I got to do? I got to actually again. I got to get my passport. I was literally getting my passport when all this is about to start.
Well, do you need it for Hawaii? Because I know it's not
Oh
continental
no, it's not
US, but
no, but I want to have it regardless. But
yeah.
nonetheless, yo, Johnny, we talking, bro. I want to go to Hawaii.
We should get like a bunch of fucking friends and get maybe like an Airbnb on the beach or some shit. I
No
wonder if we
problem.
could do that. That would be fucking amazing. I know a lot of you guys have been talking about it in here, and you mentioned backstage, and I haven't addressed it on the show at all.
Go ahead.
So I think we should talk a little bit about this Robert
Yes.
Meyer Burnett situation.
Let me preface before you go any further.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every interaction I've had with Robert Meyer Burnett has been nothing but pleasant. I have laughed with Robert Meyer Burnett. I have joked with Robert Meyer Burnett. I never once have thought, nor do I still think Robert Burnett is a racist. Let me preface that. I say that because I think what Robert Meyer Burnett said is racist in that tweet. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying that. But because of the circumstances surrounding that, with the video that he posted, which I understand, what he stated, that is very racist because, again, I'm not saying Robert Meyer Burnett is this dude. I know Robert Meyer Burnett has been down for the cause. I know he is like, yo, he's all about what's happening with Black Lives Matter. I get it. But I said in response to him, dude, look in your mentions. Look at who are supporting you. If you look at the profiles of them, it's a bunch of alt-right trolls, white nationalists, all these dudes who are basically like, yes, thank you for finally saying something. It's not saying he's like that. And I hate the fact that what this situation has become is people saying, oh, everybody's saying Robert Meyer Burnett's a racist. No one has said that. I have not said that. Winston's not said that. I don't think RB3 said that. We've said what was stated was racist.
Yeah.
What was stated. And again, it goes back to the straw man theory earlier of the David Dorn situation. Like, now you should shoot people. Like, yo, up for the majority of people who saw that video, you don't give a fuck. People be like, oh, we do care. This is a travesty. No, you didn't.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Jay, can you kind of explain what happened? Because even I didn't see RB3's tweets, because by the time I looked, RB3's tweets were gone, but Robert Meyer Burnett's responses were still there.
So here's what happened. So the dude who took the video of David Dorn being dying, which, please stop showing videos of Black people dying. That shit is very fucking triggering.
I don't know why people aren't understanding that.
I understand we see them, and yes, it is enacted change. I get it.
And if you are a news station, like you said before, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, you guys are going to show things. But like people who are posting on their Instagram stories, you're just kind of going through and all of a sudden you're watching. What the fuck?
So he posted the video of that, and he said to the extent of every gun owner, right-wing gun owner and blah, 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 shoot. They need all these looters shoot to kill.
Yeah.
So when he said that, literally RB3 was like, yo, this ain't a good move. Dorian went in there, delete this. Dwayne Burke, this ain't the move. Me, yo, Rob, this ain't the move. Don't do this.
So you guys were all just tweeting back at him saying,
like, don't do this. Again, coming at him friendly. Like, again, I could have came at him like, if I didn't know Robert, I'd have been like, are you fucking out your mind? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, this ain't the move. Don't do this. Because what those words are incite so much more. And again, I understand people will say, well, we're in a time of inflamed tensions and whatnot. But when you talk about social media, especially on Twitter, when I said look at the comments that followed in his mentions, those type of people are not the ones you want to empower, whether you realize it or not.
And also, I'm surprised that he was even allowed to do that, because Mike Kalinowski tweeted saying that the president should jump off a bridge, and they blocked, and he has no access to his Twitter anymore for months. So how is Robert Meyer Burnett able to say looters should be shot and killed when he says shoot to kill? Come on.
Don't get me started on the double standard of Twitter, because somebody just did an experiment. I should have saved it. Somebody did an experiment. They made a Twitter account and they literally retweeted Trump's exact tweets, and the account got deleted and suspended. They literally retweeted them.
That's
And
crazy.
and so Robert Meyer Burnett goes double down. He was like, "Oh, you fuckers aren't mad that a black dude was shot." Like, yo, first of all, I was like, I'm not gonna even go in this because I know how I am. Again, I'm already fired up with everything else. I always said it is very sad and tragic.
Really fucking sad. It's
very
really
tragic.
sad.
I said, but also what people don't get, like always, people want to bring up with black on black crime. When a black person shoots a black person, they are going to jail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are going to jail. They are going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. There's no doubt about that. So that is going to happen. But what happens is you get a bunch of people who don't give a fuck about David Dorn being a black man.
And social media proves that because you can scroll and see that they've never once said anything about George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. I mean, you can go back. They've never said anything about anybody dying before. All of a sudden,
and it was some of the main people that I'll say it were in some of the in the live chat when we were on backstage yesterday. Oh, you guys aren't appalled by a black man getting killed. Again, that's called gaslighting. What you're trying to do is you're trying to use a black man's death to justify your bullshit on the other end and try to get black people to sit there and be like, oh, right. You're right. No. I see through it. And I always say it on Twitter and social media. If you got mad at something I said or posted, don't at me, at your mama. But when it came to Robert Meyer Burnett, he double tripled down. And so when RB3 was like, yo, and I'm like, yo, Christian, listen, I even posted the same thing. I was like, this shouldn't be a representative of the Schmodown because you're going, if he'd have, like he said, if he'd have walked back that very first statement and was like, you know what, I worded this wrong.
I'm angry too, and I'm so sorry, and I didn't mean this.
All he had to say that. I'm angry, I said this wrong, it shouldn't have came out that way. We'd have been cool. But when you double triple down on it, again, you're emboldening the wrong group of people behind you. You got to be a fool to think that the internet fan base as a whole is a bunch of accepting and open individuals. It has been proven that there are some of the most sexist and racist people ever in nerd fandoms.
Yeah.
Ever. And you know how you see it all the time. It needs to be the same dickheads with no pictures in their avatars who come to you at Comic-Cons and all these places. Can I get a picture? The same ones, but talk shit. And so again, with Robert, it was like, yo, we're trying as friends. We are giving you the benefit of the doubt. So then people went to go say, oh, here comes cancel culture again. People are like, nobody's canceled Robert. You got to remember the Schmodown, what Christian and Mark started is now bigger than just what Christian and Mark started.
This isn't a garage backyard situation.
This isn't that anymore.
They're owned by the same company that does The Walking Dead.
Like, the Schmodown is owned by the company that does the wall. This is a business thing. And I don't care who you were. You cannot say, well, RB3 said what he did was racist. No, it's not. He called out something that was racially said. He never called Robert Meyer Burnett a racist. And again, the Schmodown is owned by Skybound. So Christian has an obligation after he spoke with Robert Meyer Burnett on numerous occasions. He knew the best thing that he had to was separate himself from that. He had to. Because again, at the end of the day, now it no longer just falls on Christian and Mark because it goes to Skybound. So people keep forgetting that part. And so everybody's like, oh, well, cancel culture. Robert Meyer Burnett has not been canceled by anybody. Why? Because Robert Meyer Burnett can still go on his own channel. Robert Meyer Burnett can still go on his friend's channel, who I refuse to say his name. He's never been canceled. He's just been removed from one thing because of a business move. And then you had another dickhead.
Based on something he said.
Then you got Andy Signor's ass sitting there want to jump out some, see, this is the mob justice the best. Yo, I told Andy on Twitter, and I'll say it here again. Fuck you. Do not make this shit about you. Talking about some, see, they just don't want to let anybody talk like they didn't let me talk. Yo, this ain't about you. You, on the other hand, got found out to have no game and cheated on your wife. Whatever the situation was with you in April that you produced papers about, that's on you, her, and Josh, okay? But the fact is, we know you are lame as fuck with no game. You clearly was a goof in high school that never could get any pussy. You became the dude on the internet and you thought you could use that and the shit didn't work and you got called the fuck out for it. Don't make this shit about you, dude, because that's what he tried to do. Like, yo, before you know anything, then say, well, we should all just have a conversation. People need to let me talk. Nobody wants to fucking hear from you. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. We have so many other comments coming in, and we will get to you guys all, I swear. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting patiently. Samir Tesfai says, seriously, F the president. Y'all take all that anger and effing vote him out. I'm going to early presidential voting on Tuesday here in Georgia. Please register to vote. I don't think this can be said enough.
Oh yeah, voting is the biggest right now. Voting is the biggest voice we have, but I think you also have to remember, like there were so many people who decided to sit out the election last time, presidential election, because they were like, oh, I don't like either one, so I'm not gonna vote. And those are some of the same people that are like, what the fuck is happening? I'm sorry,
I
Roxy.
know. No, what are you sorry about?
Because I felt like I interrupted you, so I was like, my apologies.
No, never. That's why you're on the show. I want to hear from you. I know what I fucking think. The people want to hear from you. Demo says, Heart, Roxy, thank you for speaking out on this issue. Jay is speaking facts. Thank you. AEW needs to sign Mr. Washington right now.
So if somebody wants to retweet Cody and Cody, the Bucks, and Kenny Omega and let them know that happened, I will gladly fly my own black ass down to Jacksonville. I will take Spirit. Do you understand how serious it is? I will get on a Spirit flight. I will.
Why? Why do you have to get on Spirit?
Because if I can't afford a regular flight because it's too damn expensive to show you,
right now, flights are like $15, Jay.
This is true. This is true.
You don't have to sit on the cardboard seats where your knees hit the back. You don't have to.
And your neck is in all type of pain.
Yo, Spirit is woof.
Terrible.
It's a tough look. Mayra M, I think our Robert Meyer Burnett should have been suspended, not dropped. What he said warrants an investigation, not fired right away.
Fair.
So here, let me explain something though. Fired is a word that we use when you work for a company like this. Trust me, this was not Robert Meyer Burnett's way of paying his bills. It's not like he was fired from his full-time job. And again, I'm not saying, I've always said from the whole time, this is my fantasy football. This is what I do. I do this because I love it. But this, as the manager, especially, this is not something that you do because you are looking to make sure that you have financial security. So when you say fired, really, it's almost like leaving a volunteer position.
I'm gonna tell you something. We haven't said it.
I don't mean that meanly. I don't mean it. Listen, I am obsessed with the Schmodown. I love it. I would do it. I've said this a bajillion times. I would do it for free because it's like my fantasy sports. And we don't do it for free because legally we cannot. So don't get me wrong. I'm just saying Robert Meyer Burnett is a movie producer.
Right. He's an actual movie producer and movie director. He's
doing
good.
Okay.
He's doing okay.
This is about it not being right what he did, him doubling down. There was no investigation to launch because it wasn't like we heard that 10 years ago you might have said this. It was we just watched you tweet this and then double down and then triple down. And then Christian called him and they had a conversation and they both decided what was best was that they part ways because it wasn't a good look. And Skybound is involved and they needed that to happen. So this wasn't we should investigate to see if he gets fired. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Also, people sitting there saying, well, he made a bad mistake. He just tweeted something out of anger and made a mistake. He should be allowed to retract that. Again, the statement that he made, no matter how angry he was at that moment, elicits violence. And I've said this before and I will say it again. That is one thing Black men and women are never afforded the luxury of. Right. We are not allowed to tweet or say something out of the moment that we were just angry and then people not look at it and say, oh, well, we let you retract that statement. No, because why? That statement is held over our head like the sword of Damocles. So
because somebody reads shoot to kill and somebody does that.
Yep.
That's what happens. So especially when you have a platform, you don't, the same way that I said, you don't get to be a bad apple as a police officer. When you have a platform, you don't get to say shoot to kill. And then when you're asked about it, triple down. You know, he didn't say, I'm so sorry immediately. He just kept fucking going. And I, like you, Jay, by the way, have not had a bad experience with Robert Meyer Burnett. I'm a white girl, so I don't mean that I haven't had a bad racial experience. I just mean he's always been cool to me. He's a unique cat, to say the least. I think he's got some funny, strange quirks. But do I think he's a racist dude or an awful guy? No. Do I?
My biggest problem with Robert Meyer Burnett is biggest issue with Robert Meyer Burnett. He will not let me wear his fucking jacket. That is my biggest issue because I've been wanting to wear that fucking captain's jacket for the longest, just so I can see how I look.
You should tweet at him and ask him.
He knows that that's my biggest goddamn issue. I want that jacket. But
maybe you should try now, see how that goes over on the internet.
But I'm just saying, it's like for everybody thinking that everyone's like, oh, you're just labeling him a racist and this. No, again, came at him not even professionally, came at him personally as a friend, as a colleague. Like, yo, this ain't the move, dog. Don't do this. Don't do this.
But he didn't listen.
And so people got to understand that. Somebody just said in the chat, like, black women can say what they want. Well, sometimes because you're terrified of them. And I know this because I'm a dude. Let a black woman get angry at me. I'm going to just go ahead and step on back like Homer Simpson in the bushes. But if it's on social media, people, I've seen it. I see it so much. So.
Going back in here, Big Mo's movie review. Jay, thank you for your feedback on my post. I don't know what that's regarding.
I think it was, I can't remember which one it was, but it was something about him talking about, a woman was talking about opening up the reinvestigations of Breonna Taylor's murder and the mayor not doing something. And he mentioned that I said about police unions, like, that's the reason everybody keeps forgetting police things. As much as I know, and we see, they open and shut. Like, yo, police unions play a major part in that.
What does this mean? DGMC, Jay manages Private Party, book that shit.
So Private Party is a tag team in AEW. They're two black dudes, very high energy, very high energy, lively. They get the crowd behind them. And I think they could use a mouthpiece. I wouldn't mind being a mouthpiece in AEW for Private Party. Somebody make this shit happen.
Felipe Hunt, it isn't enough to vote against Trump. Biden has his own skeletons crime bill. We need to push him to make big changes. He needs to be the next FDR. I don't think anybody's sitting, at least I don't think Jay or I are sitting here thinking like, we don't need to push Biden. Biden's got this. Yeah, totally Biden. But like at this point, you just gotta.
I mean, as much as you would love to have a better, people like, oh, well, why don't they get somebody better? I said this. I legitimately said this 4 years ago, I think, when he was in office. I said, here's the problem, because you saw it already when dude got elected. There was never, this is just the truth, there was never going to be one candidate that everybody was going to get behind, no matter what their platform was. And you saw that no matter how much you had people behind Bernie, no matter how much you had people behind Elizabeth Warren, Andrew Yang, Kamala Harris, there was never going to be one person that everyone was going to get behind, and that was going to be the problem no matter what. And I understand that Biden for damn sure ain't the best. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But it's like, at this point, it's like, fuck, if you gotta make something change, because anything is better than what's happening now.
To be honest, I would take no president. Yeah, I would take no president over Trump.
And let the inmates run the asylum.
Christy in the Streamlabs says, much love to both Jay and Roxy. Always appreciate the real conversations. Thanks, Christy. 50 Shades of Geek says, Jay, you always say what you want to say, and you never give a shit what other people think. I respect and admire you for that. I try to follow the same philosophy in my life. From a white man to a black man, thank you for your existing. Thank you for existing. Oh, that's sweet.
Thank you. I appreciate that much. And again, I always say that as you it's not trying to be defensive about everything. It's not trying to be offensive about everything. It's not trying to make people look bad or whatnot, but sometimes you just have to call things out for what they are.
This one's coming from Garth McMurray, who says, March 7th, 2015 was the 50th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery marches. Barack and Michelle Obama marched with John Lewis, their family, and many others. Now, 5 years later, instead of being for marches for change, our president hides out and condemns protests. Yeah, I saw side-by-side pictures of that.
Yep.
I mean, it's fact, Garth.
It's facts.
He also says, Christy McGee says, it's been incredibly eye-opening listening to Jay this week. It's helped me find the courage to have some difficult conversations this week. Wow,
I've started following her back on Instagram, and I appreciate her because, again, I think that's the biggest thing I've wanted to do. I've never wanted to come off as a black dude who's like, you just hate white people. You just think white people are the problem. Like, no, that's not the case. I want people to understand what black people are talking about, what we have been talking about, what is the reason why we're angry, what is the reason why we kneel, what is the reason why we protest. If you want to understand that, you can't do it without being able to listen, willing to listen and hear what's going on.
Paul Denuzio in here says, thank you for keeping up the needed discourse. I'm going to keep on listening and try to do better. I love that.
And that's all you can ask.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask.
50 Shades of Geek says, All my friends hate Digimon Frontier, which is season 4. I don't know why. I love it. It's not as good as season 1, but it's good. Jay, what's your favorite Digimon? I love Agumon.
Is it Agumon?
No, it's Agunimon.
It's supposed to be Agumon, I think, or Gunimon.
Oh,
No, Gunimon is a different one. Never mind. My favorite one has to be, again, Imperial Dramon. So again, Digimon is this big thing. Like, yo, it's this big look. I'm like a big kid at heart, baby.
I
Like,
love that. I know.
all this, these muscles and this passion is led by a big ass kid. Let me tell you something. I went and bought. I have my own Infinity Gauntlet, of course, and I've been looking for either a life size, Devastator or Voltron, and they can't just
oh my God.
they can't just be one piece. You know what I'm saying? Like they got to be able to come apart.
I know what you're saying. Still so many things coming in here. Let's get through some of these.
Yes, let's do it.
Preston Bryant, not really having a vacation is basically the way of life for like 80% of Americans. I've been fortunate enough to go to different places. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I can it depends on what you consider a vacation. When I go home see my family, is that a vacation? If I have to fly for a wedding, is that a vacation? Because like if it isn't, then I don't take vacations either.
I think for me, like when I go home, the biggest thing is like I don't go home just to see family. I'm at home. I'm like, yo, I can get on stage easily.
Yeah, so that's true too. When I'm home, I'm working too.
Yeah, I'm booking stand-up shows.
I film for like Boston companies, but like, yeah, it just, I don't know. Anytime I get on a plane, I'm like, it's a vacation, and then I'm working for like 100 hours. It is what it is. Larry Lee says, Jay, pick the winner: Bears versus Brady's Bucks.
Brady's Bucks. Because of the team, and they don't have 90,000 fucking tight ends, and the referee will protect Tom Brady.
I always loved hearing that the referee would protect Tom Brady when he was on my team.
Now you don't want to hear when he's on other teams because you know the shit's true. Like the ref's gonna be like,
Big Mo says, by the way, I admiring you guys and appreciate everything you bring to this community. Thanks, friend. I appreciate that. Also, I just scrolled by DGMC who says Kate McKinnon as Elizabeth Warren for president.
Did you see that? Did you see they did the flip the switch? Her and actually,
it was amazing. It was amazing. I wonder if we should just put them in the White House and see how that goes. Big Mo also said, no, it was about politics and SEN Live don't mix. So that's the post that
yeah. Well, my thing is this with that.
You know what that was about?
I kind of remember that one now. I apologize for mixing them up. People like politics and SEN Live don't mix, but the thing is, politics,
not politics.
Whether it's life, unfortunately. Yeah. And I understand when you don't want to, like, when you start getting into political ideologies of what's a Republican and a Democrat, what's a liberal versus conservative, that goes that far. But when you're talking about things that affect real life and the way people's views affect life, I understand that the Schmodown as a whole is a bit of escapism. I get it. But at the end of the day, every single person that is a part of the Schmodown, from those who compete at the desk, those who manage, those who announce, those who, do camera work and everything, they are regular human beings and life affects them. So at some point, you can't just hide it.
It's very true. Going back into the Streamlabs, guys, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Fillmore Pockets says, thank you, Roxy, for always keeping it classy, especially this week. Oh, yeah, you fucking know me. I'm super classy. I don't even know what just happened. Grumpy G says, feel bad that your subs go down just for keeping it real and not afraid to speak your mind. But as you said, fuck them. Okay, then sorry, the rest is not to be read out loud. Glenn Caesar says, big shout out to both for the Black Lives Matters fundraiser shows that you've each done over the past week. Y'all are the realest. I'm always down for a Rockstar Mad Titan collab with whenever I can get it. So today's show and conversation have been the best. Thanks, Glenn. Morse Code says, just want to thank Jay and Winston for the Blurred's broadcast Tuesday. Thanks for joining the Rockstars today. How did that go, by the way? I know I texted you guys, but
it was beautiful. It was very touching and impassioned and empowered. So, we just decided to take blurs instead of the regular format, which we do. And we decided to do a town hall. I hit up a bunch of people who said they were going to try to get in. They were going to try to come on. And I was like, you do, you don't. It's no big deal. We can handle it. And so him and I had to break down everything that was going on and everything that was happening. And one of the things about how it is living as a Black man in America, and, things people might not understand. And a big moment was us talking about the talk that Black parents have to have with their children. And how I had to have the talk with my 16-year-old son, because my son is 16. He's athletic. People seen the pictures of him. He's in Indianapolis, the same place Sean Reed was killed by the police while on Facebook Live. And so I have to worry about
When did you have the talk with him?
It's been a while, but I have it repeatedly. That's the problem. Wow. I don't have it just one time.
When was the first time? Do you know how old?
I think he was like 11 or 12.
And what about your daughter?
My daughter's 6, luckily, going on 7, and she's in the house with her mom. She's dealing with like her mom. They're in the suburbs, so they're good. Where their suburbs is, it's like
good.
They're good. Like the protests don't even come out that way. So
does she have any? Because I know nothing about kids and ages and stuff. Does a 6-year-old have any idea what's going on in the world right now?
My daughter just knows what's on her tablet and playing Mario Kart. That's all my daughter knows, and I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. My daughter can. I need my as of right now. My daughter can remain oblivious to all this because it's not affecting her directly. When she gets to that age that I have to have that discussion with her, just like her mother will, then we will have that. But
is your son protesting right now, or do you?
No, he knows to stay. He knows to stay his Black ass in the house. And that's the thing too. My son's athletic, so my son trains for football. My son is about to be a junior in high school, but has NFL scouts looking at him. So he's steadily trying to train. And I'm like, yo, I know you like to jog. I know you like to do all this to keep your cardio up. I said, but if you jog, you better put on damn near pastel colors. You know what I'm saying? Don't put a hoodie on your head. I have to give all these different things. And so we had that during the town hall of what an unfortunate conversation it is Black parents have to have about here's your interactions with the police. Because any potential interaction about the police could be your last.
Right.
And so we had to have that, but also in the midst of it all, Winston and I total raised $3,500, which we didn't expect at all.
That's amazing.
He thought we were going to hit 5. I was like, we might hit 1,000. I'm not sure, but I'm very grateful for a lot of our showrunner friends and, actors on TV friends and whatnot and movies. And we donated $1,750 to Black Lives Matter. We donated the other half. We found a small business in LA. There's this place, Sip and Sonder. It's in Inglewood, and they are a coffee company. And what they're doing is they were doing a fundraiser to raise money to provide frontline workers with free coffee in the morning at Inglewood area hospitals. So they did a fundraiser that was for like $1,800. They had raised $300. So we sent them $1,750 and they'd hit their goal.
What did they say? They must have been
They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it.
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
So yeah.
Did you guys know them personally?
No.
Just wow. They must have been like, oh my God,
they couldn't believe it. So
that is unbelievable.
We wanted to help out a business. So yeah, we definitely wanted to help them out.
What a beautiful thing.
And so we were able to do that, because a lot of people will say, and they probably said it to you too, some people, or they think, oh, you're doing this fundraiser, where's the money going to? Like, yo, we don't need it. And I wouldn't be that type. I don't want to be that dude to make a fundraiser and keep the money. You know what I'm saying? Some people do.
That's why what I did was, and not for any reason other than I would never want anybody to question where their money went. I just posted screenshots.
That's what I did.
And I was like, look, because I would never, I don't know what, I'm sure there are horrible people out there that would fucking do this, but like, what kind of a fucking piece of shit do you have to be to do a fundraiser right now and then keep that money? Are you crazy? Like,
there were people who were doing it then. I will never forget ever as a kid.
It's illegal, by the way. That's illegal.
Yeah. And this is when the first time I heard it, when it was fucking 9/11, when people were acting like they were doing donations for the Red Cross to keep the money for themselves. That was the first time I'd ever heard it.
It's so fucked up. I mean,
it's very fucked up.
There's a special place and a non-good place for you. So
absolutely.
Going back into here, okay, 50 Shades of Geek again says, also, sorry for the shameless plug. Last year, I made a Baby Shark video with Schmodown players, and Jay said on the Facebook group that it made him laugh and it made me feel special for a week. Thank you, Jay.
It did because at the same time when I saw it, I'll never forget, my daughter was loving Baby Shark. Now, if I try to sing Baby Shark to her on the phone, she looks at me like I'm fucking stupid.
Oh, because she's growing up.
Like the child is 6. Like, what is she like?
So that's a smart baby. That's a smart baby. Arthur Morgan says, I'm a fan of everybody, including yours, Jay. So I understand if you don't want to answer the next question, but what's the problem with Robert's friends you don't mention? I don't see a problem with him at all. Oh, the one that you said he goes on his channel, but you don't want to mention him. I don't see a problem with him at all. He says no thing but good things about Black Panther.
So this is what happened. So 2 years ago,
Sorry, that made me giggle.
So this is what happened.
I love that the and I'm not calling this person this at all, but I
Yeah.
love that the thing that makes you not racist is if you like Black Panther. I love that that's like the bar that we've set. I'm not saying that about you, Arthur, at all.
I know what you're saying.
It's not to you. I'm just saying that's it's so.
So here's what happened. So again, 2 years ago, right before Black Panther came out, and I don't watch his show. I don't. But I've seen different things he said and things that, you know, even before then that have been very problematic. And that's the word I choose to use. And one of the things was, is Black Panther just a billboard, an advertisement in a sense for Infinity War? And I'm like, yo, are you serious?
That's something he said.
Yeah. And so I'm like, yo, bro, I'm like, yo, don't do that. Because it's like you devalue the significance of that film in itself, you know? And so I told him I said, yo, you're problematic as fuck. Those were my exact words. And so people were like, oh, you're calling him a racist. Your city's a racist. I said, no, he's problematic. And like I said before, you heard racist. Yeah. You wanted to say racist. I said problematic. Now, if you take problematic and make racist out of it, I don't know how you get the same letters because there's no S in problematic. But if you somehow had a dyslexic moment where you put the two of those together, that's on you. Now, granted, has he said stuff before? But also, you know, there's been various instances of him doing very problematic shit. And so, again, me standing on it. Like I said, I know this for a fact, and I've seen it. People can rock with him. That's fine. You do you. I don't have to. Yeah. I don't have to be buddy with him. I don't have to sit there and say, well, because he said this, he's a good dude. I don't have to, and I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying? And I don't actively go to just shit on him. I just say I don't fuck with him.
Yeah, to be honest, I've never worked with him, and I've never had any experience with him at all. So I have nothing really to say. I thought the Ahsoka thing was not fucking great. That was wild.
Yeah, like come on, wild.
Bro. But I have I get asked about him all the time, and I have nothing to say because I don't know him. I really don't know him. So
I know a lot of people will ask questions and they'll do. Now, I'm not saying that this question that just came was that, but a lot of people will ask questions and donate to ask questions to try to stir a pot. And it's like, yo, you're not going to get nothing out of me like to stir it. Like I said, I just don't fuck with dude, and I don't have to. I can see dude. I can be in the same room with dude, and I don't have to speak to him. Do y'all remember that episode of Black Mirror, White Christmas, where if you committed a crime, the people will be blacked out like static in your eyes? Like, yo, when I see dude, that's how it is. He does not exist to me. But
I think that like there are also different. I'm not saying it's a different personality type necessarily, but like not everybody has to like everybody.
No,
just not everybody has to like everybody, and that's totally fine. So yeah,
that's what people want to ask. And yeah, the singer, I don't fuck with him. Plain and simple, I don't like it. People like, oh, well, you'll go out your way to say something about him. I said no. The reason I brought him up when we were on backstage with the situation with Robert was because they rolled together. They rolled together.
The 50 Shades of Geek said, I meant to say Agunimon, Agunimon, from the one from season 4.
I haven't watched season 4.
Yeah, Agamon is cute, but he's no Agunimon.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
This is fucking gibberish, Jay.
Yeah, I haven't watched season 4 yet. I haven't watched season 4.
I know I have to let you go, and we're past when I said.
Okay. Where am I going?
A couple more things. I don't know. A couple more things. Weston Ira says it's a hashtag RoJ kind of day. That's our ship name, apparently.
Yep.
Great. One thing I'm looking forward to next year is the start of the keep 3 rule. It might be 4. Too busy to double check right now. I think that's a movie trivia schmodown thing where we're allowed to keep a few players.
I haven't heard about it.
I don't know exactly what it is either yet. But he says, without getting into a rant about players who don't pull their weight, I'll point out that some teams need to clean house immediately. And this is a great way for it to be done automatically. However, I'm just a fan who doesn't even watch live anymore. It's too depressing. Maybe not Collider Live. I just called it Collider Live. What year is it? What do you two insiders think will be the biggest lasting effects of the movie Trivia Schmodown season 7? All right, so I think there'll probably be a lot.
I think the hope is something I've always told Christian and Mark from jump. I've never made a secret, is that it becomes more than niche, because movie trivia is niche. It's very niche. It's very niche. It has to grow bigger than that. That's the hope out of this. With now having Skybound behind it, with having the ESPN article, it can reach out to way more people. Now having Jericho saying he'll do it, Doug Benson saying he'll do it, it becomes more than just
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith. It becomes more than just the niche group of fans who are people who are cinephiles and fans of movie trivia. That's the goal. That's the hope that this season does that. Because again, like when I took my step to the side, I was dealing with a lot of shit on top of that, but it's, you want it to grow bigger than what it is. You want it to be bigger. Like, yes, the fan base is rabid and they're for it, but you want that fan base to expand outside of what normal people do. And that's the thing. And that's the thing I told Christian, is just, you need to have that. You need to focus, because he's trying to do that. I said, I've always told him, I said, focus on making it go better than what, bigger than what it is, and reaching out to, like, that's why Jericho is a big grab. Because now you have a whole bunch of wrestling fans who will watch it because of Chris Jericho, right. Kevin Smith, Doug Benson, all of his Doug Loves Movies fans. All these people will come in and bring this new fan base and new eyes on it. Now, once you get those eyes, you have to ensure that you keep those eyes.
Agreed. People who have been concerned about Movie Trivia Schmodown during this time, I get it. We're a live show. I'm concerned about all live shows right now, but I know that MTS is going to push through this, and whenever we're back to competing live again, it's going to be bigger and better than ever. They're doing so much work behind the scenes right now to ensure
y'all have zero clue how much behind the scenes work.
It's crazy. And people are so invested. And there's a lot of fun things that we've been doing with promos and like drama behind the scenes. So I have no worries about it at all. And honestly, I will say, I thought that the way that Christian handled this situation was incredibly impressive.
I do. Him decided to do a lot of the exhibition matches, doing things to keep content, to keep people appeased by it, saying, for not people to fall off and forget about it.
And he's got a lot of people to please and a lot of schedules to work around. And I'm nothing but fucking impressed. And even the Robert Meyer Burnett situation, the way that he handled it, I hate using this phrase because I don't mean like women aren't like this, but like a man. He fucking did it like a man. He called him, he talked to him. That's not the right phrase though, because women are fucking ballsy and head on too. Like an adult. That's the phrase. Yes. He did it like an adult. And he listened to the people in the Schmodown that needed for this to be cleared up, and he listened to Skybound, and he made the decisions he had to make, and he called, and he did. I just think he did it like a goddamn adult, and and
like an adult and a businessman.
And a businessman.
I think that's the part people keep forgetting. I understand friendships. Trust me, I do. People keep forgetting the part again. This is as much as you all love the game, as much as people love competing, managing, and all those parts of it, it's a business at the end of the day. This is a bigger business than it was 6 years ago. It's a way bigger business than it was 6 years ago. It's a way bigger business than it was last year because of one major element. And I'm telling you, people who don't get it, I have a business degree. Once you add a major powerhouse company, no matter how big or small you might think Skybound is, it changes a lot.
How could you think that Skybound is not massive?
I mean, some people probably would. They'd be like, I never heard. Some people like, I never heard of Skybound.
Yeah. So, but how many production companies have they heard of?
This is very true.
That's not where the lights are shown. People don't know. Preston said, how do you make it less niche, different categories?
Of course, the categories. And again, like I said, the talent. One of the things, and I'll be honest, I told Christian this. I said, Christian, one of the biggest things the Schmodown was predicated on and it was able to build upon was people like, when you had the original group, the Schmoes, then you bring people in, Roxy, myself, all others who are internet personalities. The thing becomes, we bring our fan bases, but all our fan bases combined make it one giant circle. So it doesn't grow. Now you got to get outside that circle. So again, a Chris Jericho does that.
Yeah.
A Kevin Smith does that. A Doug Benson does that. And it's not saying there's anything wrong with the circle, but those fans. Go ahead, Rox.
You mean a Venn diagram? I hear we need multiple circles.
You need multiple circles, and then you have them all overlap because now you grow this out. Now you expand it. You need those characters. That was the biggest thing that made the people watch this now. It was people they knew from the internet. They identified what they relate to. And again, I always said I have no problem with the fan leagues, but outside of the game and the fan leagues, most people don't know who the fan league people that come in are. That's the thing. So you just got to make it grow, and that's not a bad thing at all. And he's doing that.
Going back into the Patreon, Garth says, Jay, with a shortage of great Democratic politicians for president, do you know of any people who are at lower levels of government, like mayors, etc., who could rise up and do a successful campaign for president someday?
Stacey Abrams right now. Stacey Abrams made so much noise in Georgia, and especially the fact the way she lost because of voter suppression. When she gave the Democratic rebuttal for the State of the Union, that put a very big light on her. There used Julian Castro used to be another one as well. Julian Castro. There used to be so many people, and now it's hard to focus on them. But go ahead.
What do you think about Cuomo?
See, I think the problem is we have to look at that with a fine-tooth comb, and I say that because remember, everybody was behind Rudy Giuliani come September 11th.
Yeah.
And granted, he was just the mayor, but everybody was behind Rudy Giuliani, like he couldn't do no wrong. I understand. So, like this situation, how Cuomo's handling what's going on in New York with the pandemic is one thing. People are like, yeah, put him at the forefront. People are saying put Newsom at the forefront.
Do you like Gavin Newsom?
I'm learning about him since I've been living out here. Yeah. I think him and Eric Garcetti have been playing scared with this whole thing because of not knowing what to do.
I do want to ask you about Garcetti because I feel like LA has turned on Garcetti real fast, and I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it. It went from I felt like LA liked Garcetti to LA does not like Garcetti. How are you feeling right now?
I think it was when he kept trying to. I think the biggest thing was the stay-at-home order.
Yeah,
that's what made everybody turn on him.
He's done a ton of bullshit, like making Beverly Hills curfew 1 p.m. Get the fuck out of here.
When you started doing the curfews, I understand, but when you started doing the whole stay-at-home order, and then one day you're like, "Yeah, we'll be good to go come May 15th," and then numbers start to like. I always tell people with coronavirus testing numbers. Once testing became available, confirmed cases were going to shoot up no matter what. Yeah. It never meant that people were brand newly getting infected.
Garcetti has also limited testing now because of the protests. So a few things. But what do you mean you understand the curfew? Curfew, I maybe understand. 1 p.m.
No. I wasn't talking about the 1 p.m. part. I was like, I understand the curfew when it was like 6, 7 because of the protest. 1 p.m. is like, yo, you are ridiculous, fam.
What the hell are you supposed to do? I mean, you can't even.
You're telling people wake up and go back to sleep. That's literally what you told people. Wake your ass up, go to sleep. Like that's how you tell something.
Wait, you're gonna have to translate this for me. This is another question coming in from Christy, who says, "Off the topic, but have you watched the cat funeral video, Roxy? Meow, Jay. What the fuck is this?"
There's a video that Winston and I play weekly on Blurs in the Hood. We have found a video of a cat funeral. It's a black dude playing the organ, and he is singing the song Meow. He's like, meow. I will send you the video as God is my witness. When I first watched it, Roxy, I lie to you not, I was in tears laughing for an hour and a half straight before I was even able to send it to Winston.
Wait, I need to send you a video that I found the other day, but I can't even preface it. I know this isn't fun for you guys at home, but maybe I'll put it in the link so you guys can see. I found the funniest video I've ever seen the other day. It is a Zoom call gone wrong.
Oh, you talking about the dude that went to start masturbating?
Oh, the
shit! My man's. Hey, if y'all ain't seen this video,
is this real or is it fucking?
It's real. It's real.
Oh, shit! What's his name? Derek's about to beat his dick. Whatever his name.
It was like somebody call him. So if y'all haven't seen it, there's a Zoom conference call. And it's like 9 people on it. And the one dude in the top left corner, he's like, all right, he's the one who started the call. So he's like, I'm going to close my camera and mic and stuff. You guys can finish the call. He thought he turned his camera off. It came back on. My man walks off and comes back with a bottle of lotion and some tissue. It's a dude at the bottom corner named Bennett. Bennett looked like, oh no. and he see my man open his pants.
Why does he come back so quickly? It's like, what were you thinking about during the meeting? I mean, I would play it for you guys right now, but I keep getting demonetized anytime I play you guys some shit, so I can't play it. But I'll put in a link because this shit was fucking funny.
It was where old girl was like, somebody call Michael right now. Somebody call. And it's the Asian dude. The Asian dude, he sees some grab lotion. This motherfucker jump back like, oh!
That's why I think it was real, because nobody acts that well. Like, everybody.
Yes, if you randomly see a dude about to beat his dick, and you're like, we are on workout, fam. Don't you beat your meat right here.
This shit was insane. All right, I just put a link in the chat. You guys, I'm telling you, when we are off, which is in a minute, this is so fucking worth your time. And also, Johnny LaQuasto just sent me Meow, so I think he may have sent me the cat video.
Yes.
I'll watch this. I love. See, this is how I stay sane during.
It's like 30 seconds. It's 30 seconds. Go ahead and watch it while you're on there. I can handle this for you.
All right, I'm gonna mute this. You talk to the people.
Okay, so I want Roxy to watch this video, but if you've not seen that Zoom video call, it is the greatest shit ever. When I tell you, it's one lady, she's just like, oh shit, and so it's another dude. He like, oh, and it's this one dude who's like, there, Michael, like you like, wait, but the thing is, that's what Roxy is watching the Meow. Like, that is what is happening. But like, people forget, there have been videos of people on these Zoom calls and doing interviews and stuff that ain't got no pants on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're at home. Yes, it's the greatest video ever, Roxy. It's the greatest shit ever.
Wait, what is this? Is he
a cat funeral? That's a funeral for the cat. The cat is in the shoe.
What's in the box? It looks like a snake.
It's a cat.
Oh,
that's why he's saying Meow. It's a cat. It's a cat.
He's so serious about this shit. That is unreal. That is unreal.
Oh, somebody just said something in the super chat to you, Roxy.
Yeah, Mayra. Beverly Hills curfew was not Garcetti's fault. It was Beverly Hills City Council. People forget that Garcetti is LA City Mayor, not LA County Mayor. Interesting. I thought that Garcetti cleared that. I could be wrong though, Mayra. Thank you for correcting me. Whoever did that was some serious bullshit. That was like, what the fuck are you thinking? Let me check and make sure that I haven't missed any of you guys. Oh, 50 Shades of Geek says, sorry for making you say Digimon names, Roxy. It's okay. I'm sure they came out sounding exactly like they're supposed to. Really appreciate you guys all being in here today. Jay, you have so many things going on. Where can everybody find you and all the things? How can they support? Give me everything.
Okay, so Twitter and Instagram, you see it here on the in the box, Mr. J Washington. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAY Washington 80. My Patreon, my Supervillain Squad, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington if you want to join there. The Mad Titan podcast, everywhere you get podcasts from. I get you caught up on all the stuff happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. I just dropped episode 62 this morning. I recorded it.
Oh,
I woke
62, up, so many. It's fucking awesome.
So I woke up this morning and the problem was I didn't know if I was going to be able to do the episode because of how mentally taxing everything was. And I like to give a lot of energy and love to anybody who listens to the podcast. No, I try to keep giving people a lot of love, a lot of energy throughout and have fun with it when I do it. And so I didn't know if I was going to be able to muster it, especially me doing it by myself for the week. And so I did. So that is up right now. And also Blurs in the Hood, myself and Winston, every Tuesday live, 2 p.m. Pacific, youtube.com/Blurs in the Hood, BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. We are on YouTube and Twitch because I wanted to see what we can do on Twitch with it. So yeah, those are the ways. And if you want to support, like I said, Patreon, if you just like, yo, I just want to throw you a one-time donation, my Cash App and Venmo is both Mr. J Washington. So that's how you can do it. You know what I'm saying? I take 5s, 10s, 20s, even dollars. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let me tell you something. I got kids. Okay.
You're trying to go on vacation for the first time in your life. Come on, guys. We can do it. Also, Glenn, I would put the cat funeral link in the chat, but it wasn't a link. Johnny sent me
the actual video. Yeah.
The actual video. How do we get that to them?
I will probably, like I said, I posted it on my Twitter. I will repost it on my Twitter.
So go check out Jay's Twitter after this, and he'll have it there.
It on my Twitter.
It's definitely worth watching. You saw my face while I was doing it. Jay Washington, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
You're amazing, always. I will say I haven't smiled for a minute, so thank you for making me smile today.
Glad I can do that.
This fucking planet right now, so I really appreciate you being here and talking with us about everything and going all over the map with us. A little bit of housekeeping, guys. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do a solo stream. I usually do them on Fridays. And so tomorrow's Friday, 2:30 will be up because I go live after DC movie news. What a fucking strange week to be talking about DC movie news, but
I just talked about
I honestly, you know what? I bet DC's new movie news is canceled tomorrow. I know AfterBuzz said that they are not doing any shows that are not related to BLM right now, so probably we're canceled. I think I just lied to you guys, and if I did just lie to you, you're watching the wheels turn right now. I'm fucking slow as hell. If I did lie to you, I'll probably go up at 1:00 tomorrow, like the normal times that we usually do the show, but you'll have to look at my Twitter too to find out, because what the fuck do I know anymore? Jay, this is watching a meltdown right now. You are watching a meltdown take place. Also, my phone broke today. It's a whole thing, guys. We'll deal with this all tomorrow, but I think I'll be live at 1. That sounds good. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1. Jay, come rescue me. Clearly, she needs it.
Just hit that button. Just hit the damn button.
I know. Jay's the best. Follow him. Whatever. It is. Goodbye, guys. Stay safe.